Well, today another new round of tariffs is set to take effect. This time, 25% for all imported cars and trucks. That's on top of the sweeping tariffs President Trump announced yesterday. 10% on all countries and higher tariffs on some of those countries, including China, Vietnam, and the European Union.
And overnight, stock futures for all three major indexes have tumbled. President Trump announced the tariffs after markets had already closed for the day, but since then, you can see the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P 500 all falling overnight.
A new poll shows a majority of Americans are worried about tariffs. Marquette Law School did this poll and found 58% said the tariffs will hurt the U.S. economy and cause inflation to rise. And we are seeing response from around the world. The president of the European Commission calls these tariffs a major blow to the global economy. The European Union has already said is preparing countermeasures against these tariffs. There have also been some positive responses to the new tariffs.
Scripps News Group Deputy Political Director Joe St. George is live in Washington. And Joe, who is actually celebrating the tariffs this morning?
Well, the UAW is celebrating the auto tariffs today. They've long time criticized free trade in this country as a big reason why there's so many car plants in Mexico and Canada these days. So there's praise for the auto tariffs on that front. The National Cattlemen's Association, beef, they're praising the moves from the president because they believe for too long farmers, particularly cattlemen, have faced obstacles when it comes to global trade. They think this may be able to correct some imbalances here. I know people waking up in Colorado having their coffee and eggs with us just want to know, all right, when is this going to impact me? How is this going to impact me? Three key dates to keep an eye on. One date is today. As you guys noted, those auto tariffs went into effect. Economists say that cost will be passed on to all of us when we go purchase new cars, although the White House does push back when you ask them, oh, is inflation guaranteed here? They think that some of the cost is going to be eaten, if you will, by countries or by businesses. Somebody's going to be right here and somebody's going to be wrong. Date one is today. Date two is Saturday. That's when those 10% tariffs on essentially all countries are going to take effect. But next week, April 9th, this is the one I've got circled in my calendar, guys. This is when some mega tariffs, mega new taxes go into effect. You add up all of China's tariffs, they're looking at close to 60% in new taxes. Vietnam, let's just talk about Vietnam for a moment. 46% new tariff, new tax rate there. Think of the amount of furniture that gets built in Vietnam and then sold in Colorado stores, or clothing that gets stitched in Vietnam and then sold in Colorado malls. This potentially could have a major impact on what we pay when we go shopping. The Trump administration believes this is a way of getting companies to build plants back in the United States. But as lawmakers here on Capitol Hill this morning have said, it takes a while for a plant to open. In the short term, it could be rocky. The Trump administration has acknowledged that we may be in for some short-term turbulence, especially today when the markets open in short order. As far as reaction, Senator John Hickenlooper of Colorado had this to say.
I've run enough small businesses that I can say from experience that this is going to devastate many of our local entrepreneurs. Bottom line, this trade war will cost us jobs and make everyday life more expensive for Colorado families.
Alrighty, so now we wait for retaliation. We haven't officially got that yet, right? There's chatter about other countries retaliating, putting new tariffs in place. A global trade war really requires tariffs on both sides. We'll see what reaction Europe has, what China has, what especially the Asian markets have to all of this news. This story will be a developing one for sure throughout the day and I think the week ahead.
All right, so much to pay attention to, Joe. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. With those dates marked on our calendar now to look forward to as well.
Yeah, May 2nd, actually, the loophole that Temu and Shein, those discount retailers were using, that loophole will end. So we're going to be watching for a lot of impacts on our shopping here in the coming weeks and months.